be here, I could get, I know that he's a new member, and I want him to kind of hear and understand how all this,
Doc, you want me to start recording now, or?
Sorry. And so we'll get started. We're going to, Corey's going to sit in with us. The administrator's going to step out for just a second. And then once we do our kind of official meeting, we adjourn, we'll have the administrator come back for the fourth part, and then we'll let them go. And so, any questions before we start? Okay. And I will, I don't think we have a flag here, that's all right. We'll just, so, okay, go ahead, sorry. Thank you, Mark. This is a special meeting of the Board of Trustees of the Anahuac ISD. If we can please, we'll start with the pledges. We'll start with the pledge of the United States. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. On the Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
I'll say a quick prayer. Dear Father, thank you for staying, and thank you for our blessings, Lord. Thank you for these people who are here today. Thank you for them spending a Saturday morning with us, spending their time to help us, to help this district, and help these kids. Give us wisdom as we look through these laws and rulings or rules. Give Corey wisdom and his guidance with us. Give Dr. Terrier wisdom and his team as we search for a new superintendent. Give us board members wisdom as we search for a new superintendent. And we thank you and praise you in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Okay, I don't think we have any public comments. So let's see. Discuss TASB update 126. Really anything for that? That's going to be. Is that what? Okay, so that's going to be required. All right. So we will wait on that. So let's move down to the item 7, considering hiring teachers. Any comments on these teachers?
Individuals, both the life skills teacher is a lady from Western Gwinnett. She has been a paraprofessional. Daniel helped check her out. Trotter is real excited about getting her over here. And so, that should be good. And then the art lady is an experienced art teacher, and I personally talked to the last principal that she worked for, and the lady just raved about what an awesome teacher she was, not only in her classroom, but the positive effect she had on the whole campus. So we, hopefully, if the Lord's willing, we're making a couple good hires with those two. So that's our recommendation for those two.
Okay. Please. Those are the two teachers. Make a motion, please.
Yes, I will. I move to hire Boris Scully as a certified teacher for, I'm assuming she is as an art teacher, and Mandy Mahon as who's also a certified teacher for SPED. Correct.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second to teacher on both these teachers on a probationary contract for the remainder of the 25-26 school year. First, second, any further questions? Any other?
No, sir. Thank you. Yes, sir.
Okay. Any other discussion or questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Against, say nay. Okay, motion carries. Nice. Oh, yes. Okay, so I guess we will hold for just a second here.
Dr. Raymond, you got to finish by lunch because that gate out there is programmed to slam shut at lunch. We'll be trapped in there all week. So
Oh, dear.
they'll come in Monday morning to get the buses cranked up, bring water and eat coffee maker.
I didn't catch the gals that were dressing
Oh,
up.
if it wasn't, I would have there, but very dramatic. And the, well, there's a lady, we have a name, it says that Liberty by Law out there. We have to go. This literally, this feud has been happening for 3 years.
On record.
Are
Are we supposed to be on the record still?
No, that's not recording.
Okay.
Y'all let him to just kind of start roofing and we can show Stacy.
You sure can. Yeah, that'd be fine.
And Jessica took care of getting all the breakfast stuff and everything.
Thank you, Jessica.
Welcome aboard.
Yes.
Realized.
High standards.
Well, if you shoot for high and get somewhere in the middle.
You probably do it on memory.
You couldn't stop the little banner, so it still show if you click find a link to it. So I think
Doc, you ready for that?
Yes, go ahead. I guess, Michael, I guess we probably do need to put the recording back on.
okay.
Now they're ready to go. All right, Region 5, y'all can take it away.
All right, so, thank you for considering us, number one, to help you with your superintendent search. Nothing really has changed since the previous search that we did. The fee that we charge for in-region, districts for the size school you are, $182,406,000. We charge larger districts a little bit more, so that is all inclusive. We do it however you want us to do, meaning we can provide as much support or as little support as you want as we navigate this. Most people choose for us to do the max, which is great. We appreciate that. Last time we did a few things that I'm going to defer to you guys to see if you think that is necessary again or if you would like to do it again. But we went to every campus last time we did the search. And we got feedback from each campus, and then we reported that back to you so that we could help put together a superintendent profile, which the district is looking for. That is probably real consistent with what happened a couple of years, but if y'all want us to do that again, we certainly can. We also sent out a questionnaire, a survey, and let community members respond to that. We compiled that to let you know what the community thought about the search as well. And so we're open to doing any of that you would like. I'm seeing some.
Remind me when was the last search? They all run together.
Yeah.
What time period?
I don't know how long ago you said, maybe 2 years ago?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think this spring would be 2 years ago.
Yes. Okay, so it's 2 years old.
24. Yeah.
Popular data.
Yeah.
So to speak. Okay.
Again, we can do whatever you guys want to do on that.
What's y'all's desire?
I would say the community's probably, I mean, if it'd been 5 years, 7 years, I think we might have a little bit of difference in thoughts, feelings, and opinions. But for the most part, the staff is the same, with the exception of some of the campus administrators.
I agree with Carlton. I don't know that it's necessary. I don't think we've had any major cultural shifts within our community over the past few years. I think what they want is ultimately still going to be the same.
Okay.
That'd be my opinion.
And you don't have to make a student right this
Yeah,
minute.
so it's good to think
About
about
it,
it.
cogitate on it a little bit, let us know.
Any other opinions? Stacy, we just started. We just hired teachers. And so, yeah, we did that.
We hired a superintendent.
That's right.
We all resigned and then reinstated ourselves.
You've missed all the good stuff.
That's right. So,
Continue with a good time.
they just started, and just to kind of, 2 years ago, they did like a community kind of questionnaire or feedback type thing, and also a staff or, and he was just asking, is it necessary or needed to do that again? And kind of what opinion was about that. So that's what we discussed so far. Do you have any thoughts about that? Kind of and what they did is they kind of gave us, kind of what the staff was looking for in a new superintendent and, how much, remind me, was this? So how much data did y'all get back to us? I'm trying to remember.
And jump in at any point, but first, what we did initially was, I don't remember if you joined me or not, but I went to every campus. We had a staff meeting, and I just asked them, hey, you're about to get a new superintendent. What would you like the board to be looking for? What are the top priorities that you would like them to be looking for? They gave me feedback. We tracked all of it. We condensed it. People said multiple things that kind of fit together. And we brought that back to you. And then Morgan created a survey that went out to the staff and community. If you wanted to do just that piece, not let us go out and talk to each campus and get that kind of feedback, we can do that too. So any combination you want, go ahead and tell them what you.
Yeah, I still have that data that's there. I can send that to you all. You can look at it. If you say, yes, that's the change we need, we just circle back. But I still have all that data, the questionnaire, the graph that tells you kind of where everyone landed. I also have the survey from the campuses and what the high points were there. So I don't mind sending that to you all. You can look at it and say, there's something different there. We might need to change a little bit, but.
The one that I have is that we do some new principles. And so in positions that were not in those positions 2 years ago. I think it is important to have, especially from the staff, I think it's important to have, for lack of a better word, buy-in from the staff. And I don't know if this helps with that buy-in process, and yes, it does kind of help guide us, but I think the other purpose of it can be just that it is, even though we're having a meeting today, we're announcing that we're doing this search, but it also kind of is it's a definite, we are going into a superintendent search, the campus knows what's going on.
Yep.
Or the staff knows what's going on.
Yeah. I don't think we're just gonna, because there might be some people that weren't here too.
And it runs concurrently with, we'll get the posting out, people will start submitting applications, that just helps drive our selection.
Yes. So,
Okay.
As soon as you guys officially select us, if that's the route that you go, and you approve the posting, the problem is, it actually doesn't. We'll have to do all that first, because that's what creates the posting. But we get information back now from the staff and from the community as to what they're looking for in a superintendent. You approve that, that's what the posting is. So we would have to do all of that before we actually post. That's the only thing.
So board, could we come to a compromise, because we are on a timeline, and say, we select them, should we move forward? Could we say, let's look at the posting, the profile that they've developed, that will drive the posting, say that this is what we're good with moving forward with, and then after that's posted, we will have them collect data, and then we can use that to drive our selection process. Would we all feel comfortable compromising on that because of the timeline?
100%. There is that profile that was created, and you'll see this when it says candidate profile, the one that we created based on the data that we collected prior to that. But there is one thing that I did add, because you all are a TSL district, or moving to a TSL district, and so what I've added in there is that strong understanding of TSL is required, because you want that, you're requiring that, because you want this to move forward. Now, the reason I said understanding is because there are so few districts in the state that are doing this, so that just to have knowledge and working knowledge is going to be fairly minimal. I mean, you would have to, but that would open up those that want to understand TSL. They can reach out to any region they're in, their TSL team, so they could collect that data, talk to people, and then get an idea so that they can talk specifically about TSL with you all, because that's what you all are in, and we want to keep that. No.
Could we request that we packet first, the language in that, strong understanding and willingness to get two principles? I mean, you can see in it, you like,
Yeah. I agree. That's great. Let me make a note.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Do it however you want, but just like,
Yes.
don't come in and sell something and then be like, but I hate it. So.
That's exactly right. No, that's a good point.
As a board,
You have.
And honestly, alternative searches. Beauty of it is, you get a diagnostic of what the district's in, right? As a new superintendent, what better tool?
Sure.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
A
so-
roadmap, you have a roadmap for what to do, you can't beat that at all.
No, I think it's a great spot for them to be in from the assessment part.
So what we can do is what you just said, if everybody agrees to that, is you guys look over this, and then, I mean, you can reach out to me by email, phone, whatever you want, and say, we approve of this board. And you don't need formal approval, just a consensus that you like what's here. Give yourselves time to review it and think about it. If you want to add something to it, take it away, let me know. And as soon as I get that word from you, I can post it.
Okay.
And then we'll do the surveys and things to get information, so as you go through interviews and the selection process, you'll know what to do. Sound good?
Yeah, I think that's a good approach. Based approach. Board, let me know by Thursday if you have something different you want to put on. Okay, and if you're good with it now, or y'all just want to say, hey, let's go with it now. Yeah, anyone not want to go with it right now?
Yeah, let's look at it.
Just let me know, Mikey, if there's something that you want to add or change, or, and then.
I want to share with them, whenever we do this and what we have found, we post, of course, on our website and on TASB's website and TASA's, and we do Texas ISD. Most people look at Texas ISD, that's where everyone lands. But what we found in the past 6 or 8 months, whenever we post for Texas ISD, it's typically 5 to 10 days before they ever post it on their website. They have been slow in doing that. So I want people to, want you all to know that. And of course, we say, hey, we're going to post it, and you go out there the next day and it's not there. It's usually 5 to 10 days, even though we email and call. It's a different process than what it used to be for them.
It is interesting, and it's good to know. So on TASA, TASA.net, you will see immediately. As soon as we go in and put the information in, it pops up. We actually control it. With Texas ISD, we do not. Then there's a Texas Superfine. We have to submit the information and they post it, but they're a lot quicker than Texas ISD. And then we control posting it on our website. So that just kind of gives you if we say it's been posted, we've submitted the information. We don't control it actually. All right. Go ahead.
I've made a couple of touch points with a few that I know have expressed interest in beginning to move and doing some things. And some of those have been in the TSL realm. So I've made a couple contacts to say, hey, this may be posted here in the next few weeks. So just be prepared. Now, again, you never know what people are going to do, but I just thought, kind of getting the ball rolling. So we made a couple contacts.
And so this entire packet here is what gets posted. And so as you review the profiles, that's the most important thing, or one of the most important things. Look at all of it. This proposed timeline is something else before we post. We need you to agree upon. And we just put some tentative dates in there, looking at, all the things, because what has to take place here, it really comes down to you. And if you're able to get a quorum together, or all 8 of you, or all 7 of you, I'm sorry, not 8, all 7 of you together to actually meet, review applications, do interviews, it falls back on you. We do post it as a tentative timeline, so if something comes up and we need to change the date, that's not a huge issue. But to meet the end game, the proposed start date, which we put negotiable, but we will put a date in there if you're saying, hey, we want them here May 1st, we want them here June, but whatever, we can put that in there. But what we typically do is start with the end date, work backwards. But here, we did it the opposite because we didn't know what start date was that you guys were shooting for. So we're thinking application that posted
as soon as we hear back from Doc. And then the posting deadline, application deadline will be February 27th. That gives him about 5 or 6 weeks, depending on when I hear back from you. And that's pretty typical. We try to go more than 4, less than 6. So this is a great window if you agree with that. Application review, we try to do that as quickly as we can after we close the deadline, but it gives us enough time because I know you're new to this, so I'm kind of going through the process here. We post, we accept all the applications, and then we put it on a nice spreadsheet for you that shows people that are sitting superintendents, have superintendent experience, their central office staff. And so we do this spreadsheet that tells you at a glance what the person has done and kind of where they sit right now. Not that that influences you in any way, but we've been asked for that so many times that we just do that for you. And so on that application review, we don't, unlike most search consultants, we do not tell you who you ought to interview and who you ought to select. What we do is bring you, if we have 80 applicants, we're going to bring you all 80. And you will go through every one of them that you want to. That spreadsheet helps you. As a group, you may decide, we don't want somebody that has never been a high school principal. I'm just giving an example. I'm not trying to lead you in any way, but you may have an opinion like that. And so anybody on that list that has never been a high school principal, you can set them off to the side and look at all the other ones. So that's why we do that. So it's easier for you to navigate. So we'll do that. Again, March 5th is the proposed date. You guys are going to have to kind of let us know, does that March 5th date work? After that, we need to have time to schedule interviews with the people you select to interview for first round. And the way we address them is whoever is the farthest away, we give them first selection on what time slot they want to interview because they have to make a lot of plans. They may be spending the night, they may have to do airline flights. And the closest person to you, if you have an in-district person, they'll get last choice because they're already here. That makes sense? We'll do first round interviews. Typically, we see districts doing anywhere from 4 to 10, but you can interview 80 if you want to. I don't advise that because it's a lot of time. The interviews will last, and we put a timeline on them of an hour and a half. So an hour and a half interview or less, but we don't start the next one until that hour and a half is up. So hour and a half interviews. And when we get to the last night, typically we just stay after the last interview. And as you're going through them, I have you ranked. We have you rank them as you interview. And so after the first 2 have interviewed, you rank them 1 and 2. When the third one, you re-rank them 1, 2, 3. The fourth, because I promise you, from the first interview to the last interview, you're going to forget a lot. You think you won't, but you will. And so we have you take notes. We have you rank. The only thing we tell you while taking notes is don't put personal thoughts because of PIR issues. So just the facts, ma'am, that kind of thing, just to get your memory going. And then we have you rank each one at the end of each night. Then after the last first round interview, we'll meet for 20, 30. It usually don't even take that long to determine who we're going to call back for a second round interview. You don't have to have second round interviews. Many times our boards have said, you know what, we like so-and-so, we know that's our person, we're not going to waste any more time, we're going. And you can do that, but if you have any question at all, or there's, I'd really like to hear from her again, well, let's call them back and let's do a second round interview. I encourage that. What I would say, if you have a high interest in anybody, don't not interview them because you've got 8, and that's what you were thinking you would interview first round. Go ahead and bring that 9th person in. An hour and a half investment of your time for the future of this school district is well worth an hour and a half of your time. You don't want to regret passing on somebody since you had a high interest. That makes sense? Okay. Then we bring them back for a second round interview. You select. Typically, that's 2 to 4 that come back. But again, it can be any number. I'm just giving you the averages. Typically 2 to 4 come back, and they will interview a second round. And then at the last interview that night, we try to get to a lone finalist. And on the second round interviews, the last night we do second round interviews, we go ahead and put it on the agenda, possibly name along the finalists so that you have that option. It doesn't force you to do it, but it gives you that option. If you pick one on that night, when you pick one, what we typically do is put the candidate on speakerphone, and I typically say this. So be thinking about this. I'm telling you early so you guys can start thinking and getting to some numbers here. I typically call a person and say, hey, the board at Anahuac ISD is super interested in you. They are considering naming you loan finance. If they were to offer you $190,000, I'm just throwing that in. I'm trying to sway you on anything, but just throwing a number. If they were to offer you $190,000 and provide your transportation, blah, 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 would you accept if they named you loan finance? And the reason I do that is because we don't want to name a loan finalist and find out tomorrow they don't want to.
Not paying enough or.
Yeah, that's right. And so typically, and I have conversations on the side about, hey, this is kind of what the board's thinking. Thinking about 190, if that's not going to work for you, I need to know ahead of time. And they want to tell me because they know we do a lot of searches and it'll ruin them in the future if they don't play nice with us. So we usually know what they're going to accept that night for you guys. And so we make that call. If they say yes, I typically say, well, congratulations, because we're about to come out of closed session and name you loan finalists.
Yeah.
And so the other thing I would say, though, and I encourage them ahead of time, have conversations with your spouse. You take care of all that, do all the praying you need to do ahead of time. So on that night, you know, yes or no. But that don't always happen, and that's not a reflection of you, and that doesn't mean they're not going to take the job. So typically, we allow them 24 hours if they haven't taken care of their business yet, need to tidy up something in the end.
Well, and I will give you an example of that. Last time we did one with Robert Laird, who we all know and love. And I had talked to him, you know, because you'll start having people call you once you post it. Every teacher that you know that is, and then you work in the school district long enough that serves on the superintendent. And what we always say is, we'll talk to them. You don't promise them anything. It's our decision. We'll listen to you. Know, and don't be very unbiased. But I talked to Robert, and one of the things he did mention to me in passing was that Emily, his wife, one of the reasons they left Anahuac was because she didn't want to be in Anahuac. And I think that ultimately drove his decision to not apply last time, was because she was hesitant to come back to Anahuac. So those backroom conversations between husband and wife do happen and may change. Now, that's not to say he wouldn't apply this time and things haven't changed and they haven't had conversations and he didn't regret it last time. I'm just saying that is one personal experience that we had where I'm pretty confident that's the reason he didn't apply last time.
Can I have a thought?
Yes, sir.
I'm glad you're I would like to, as a board, y'all be thinking about what salaries should be. And I'm so glad you're taking this step, because I think what could be very awkward is we might name a loan pilot. We can come to terms.
That's right.
That's super awkward.
Mm.
That is not good. And so what I was thinking is, Corey, you could have a contract written up. We've got a salary we have in mind. We have the benefits, house, no house, car, no car, cell phone, no cell phone, whatever. All of the things. So that they and do you give that to like the second interview people, or do you you do that at the point of
So once the loan finalists and we get a phone with you guys, if y'all do what you just described, we'll know what it is.
Okay.
And so we typically give them a ballpark. The 21-day wait period, once you name a loan finalist, there's a 21-day wait period before you can actually hire the superintendent. In that 21 days, that's where the negotiation happens.
And that has to be possible. Negotiation has to be possible. If they're like, no, you're $100,000 off, then that's impossible. You know, I mean, and so we might as well not name them loan finalists. You know, or no, I don't really know if I want to move to Anahuac actually. You know, there's just some no-goes. And so we need to get those no-goes out of the way, and I think it'll help to have a contract kind of already written out. And y'all be thinking about, because the issues in the past were house, no house, Social Security, no Social Security. That's come up before, because like, well, no, pay me extra, don't put in Social Security. That's been an issue in the past.
Or
Or there's other.
There's,
Now we figure it out.
but we have to make some elections, but we also want to defer compensation.
They wanna do, like, they want their house to be in their salary, so that their social security gets to be more. And that's fine, but, you know, we need to kind of think about how we wanna handle that, because that's been kind of some challenges in the past with previous.
I don't know which of you to ask, and it may be both of you, and this may be a dumb question, because I probably should know, but could y'all, whoever is the appropriate party, help us identify like a good salary, a recommended average salary?
Yeah.
What I bring to you typically on that night we talk about application reviews, I bring you a list of all the that's not gonna get you where you wanna be.
Right.
Pull in Barbers Hill, even though they're much bigger, I know they pay a lot more, but that'll at least tell you what you're competing with in the area with Dayton, and now you've got East Chambers, they have a new superintendent, but they were paying crazy.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they were almost
He
paying
was also doing like
300,000
5
for
jobs
him.
too, so.
I probably still have that data that we can find over EC too, so we did our search. So I can share that.
Yeah.
And another thought that always comes up, 3 years, 5 years, 2 years,
Yes.
you know, where are we at on that?
So,
You know, not 1 year, but.
and please, jump in if you jump in anytime. Here's what the law is. You can
Okay,
get a
but-
minimum of 1 year contract, maximum of 5. The average across the state is 3. And I will tell you, if you give anything less than 3, just being totally honest, if you get less than 3, it is unlikely the superintendent's gonna come in. Now, here's the other thing. In our last legislative session, in a buyout situation, that really doesn't matter. You may say differently, but that really doesn't matter because you can only pay in a separation agreement up to 20 weeks, is that right? 20 weeks. And so it don't matter if you get a 1 year or a 5 year, you only get paid 20 weeks. So really that contract is
2 years or 3 years.
We can't voluntarily through a agreement pay more than 20 weeks, but if the superintendent wants to separate, has 3 years left on a 5-year contract, and that's gonna force y'all into termination if they're not going to go out for 20 weeks.
So we got burned by that. Yeah, so.
Hopefully we don't go down that road
No,
ever
I
again.
will tell you my personal opinion, I'm not comfortable with anything more than 3.
Yep.
Because we got burned.
Yeah.
We've been burned multiple times.
3 years and that. And I will tell you this, typically when you see something, it's because it's a superintendent that's been there for a while, they're scared they're gonna lose them.
Like a Scott Campbell.
It's like a Scott Campbell, that's a great example.
I'm getting Stacy Davis on the phone. Is that okay for him to listen? He had to go to the work. Okay, so I'm getting him on this. Can you hear me, Stacy? Yes. Okay, so we got it.
And then
Yeah.
I know whenever we hired Dr. Absher, he got a contract, but it was a different contract because of the circumstances and situations. I assume you have it, the general contract that we use for superintendent, can you send it to all of us so we can look at it and have ideas of what may or may not, I guess, change for that?
I'll find the last one.
Basically a regular contract.
Right, just our general contract. Right. And it'll,
Sorry.
But you know that's a cuss word.
but I think that what Doc said is what I was going to say. I think we need to everybody get on the same page for that. And I guess on housing, we provide a house, but did you try to find out like what a typical housing allowance would be if we didn't provide a house?
I can tell you what we do. And we do a few outside of the region, but most of what we do is our investment out of the region. But, most of we only have a couple that have a house. The ones that do not typically offer a housing allowance. Salary.
That's kind of like old school.
You know, it kind of is, yeah, but we only have a handful that have housing, honestly. And if they don't take the housing, then that's their decision.
Yeah.
That would be
Sometimes.
my opinion.
Yeah.
You either take the house or you don't.
My
But
opinion, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say, I would like to require that they live in districts. That
Right.
would be my.
And my only thing is with the house, and we can hash this out later on. But with the house now, we're responsible
I
for
think it's in the contract.
lawn maintenance. We're responsible for plumbing. We're responsible for everything in that house. Whereas if it's their house and the AC goes out, well, your AC went out. That's not the school's problem to fix.
My thought, just with, just based on past experience, is that I think we give them a salary, and then the house, they have first refusal for the rental home. And the rental home is based on the market value. And so if the superintendent rented us $1,000 a month, or if Joe Blow rented it, it's $1,000 a month. And they can, we just make the rate be whatever it be for anybody else. And then they pay that out of their salary. But I think that that's maybe in their favor because it does give them a higher salary anyway, so to speak. And then they get more Social Security.
I think what Dennis did, I think Dennis got the house free.
He did.
But Dennis said, we're going to put it on paper that I'm paying for the house so I can get more money at the end of the year. That's a $12,000 raise by me saying,
I'm not comfortable with that.
and I mean either, because that's
That's
100%
why I think we just pay
unethical.
them what we pay them.
Hey, that's Dennis's problem, not mine.
He's an attorney, but I agree with you, because we do have a district that has done that. Say if West Harden did that very thing, they paid a higher salary, and the superintendent turned around and paid back for the house because it helped over time. And they were trying to keep that superintendent at the time, so that's how they did it. They just paid a higher salary, it helped them with their retirement, they turned around and paid the district back rent.
Yeah. And if they want to buy their own home, that's fine. They can buy another home in the district.
Yeah.
No problem. Or rent another home in the district. That's fine.
So with this candidate profile, I can put in there, must be willing to live in district, or, like you said, I've seen some contracts, because you'll have some folks that live within 30 minutes, and the contract will say must not live any further than 45 minutes from the district, because sometimes, if you have somebody fairly close, you think, well, they have a house and all sorts of stuff, but they're living there, they're not taking our house. So that's just the thought. You want to do that, or you want to work that as part of your
Here's what my recommendation, I think it's great, but here's what my recommendation would be, is to put something on the candidate profile saying, resides in the district, required.
I would like that.
And then, that doesn't tie you to it, but they know that's what you want.
Yeah.
And then if this situation came up that Morgan just described, Dr. Brian just described, then you have that option. You hadn't tied yourself to it being required.
Because I do believe we had a couple candidates apply that lived in Montgomery or Baytown area, and so we could negotiate with them on that, obviously. I would prefer that they live in district. To me, that gives more buy-in. They're part of their community. For me, that's very important, that they're engaged.
And I'll tell you this, because if they had put it in one of the superintendent jobs that I took, when I was superintendent in the unit, it said live in district required, but it's really required by the board when I got there. Which I might not have applied for the job that said required, but I wasn't sure at the time that I was going to move to Buena. I didn't know that I had a house. But in our conversation, they said, we'll give you a year to get in the district, because we know there's not a lot of housing here, and we're going to give you a year. Well, I was fine with that, and I took the job because of that. So there's different situations, just different circumstances.
I would be open to conversations. Just to me personally, I would love if they lived here.
Yes. So let's put required if that's what I read it. I just made note, so we'll read. Did you capture that?
I did.
Look in the district and then that. Very good. So I need you guys to look at that timeline, check your calendars, make sure that timeline works for you. If it does, you just let me know.
When's our spring break?
I can find that calendar. Yeah, around
Okay.
that. So
I just say yes, dear, when I'm told, so I
No,
I don't look at calendars.
The other day, I said, when's your spring
Yeah,
break?
yeah.
So we didn't. Yeah, so we missed that.
It's the calendar.
Yeah, I think the calendar works for me.
Yes.
In general, it works for you, Mikey.
The only thing I'm thinking is, do we want to hire that 23rd? Do we want to move that to the normal meeting?
or 27th.
Well, that was a 21 days, so if you made the decision on April the 2nd, I count from April the
Yeah, I
3rd,
figured it was.
and that'll be 21, that would be your 21 days.
As long as your regular meetings after that 23rd.
Yeah.
are good.
Right. It's
You're
like Thursday. That's a Thursday, and then the following Monday, I think we have a regular scheduled
Yeah,
meeting.
we change it.
That's not a
Or
problem.
something. I don't know how to do that. That's the only thing I saw. Get out of there, Mike. You're going to just kick her back a week. It's not going to change the definition.
Right.
Jason Davis, you okay with the timeline?
April the 27th would be that, if you do that for your on a Monday, we're gonna do a Monday.
Right, the last Monday of April.
Yes.
That would just
So
kick
if
it to our
we
normal
stick to
meeting.
that timeline, would you want a May 1st start date? Would you want a June 1st start date? I mean, what are you thinking on the start date?
What are their contracts generally?
You know, superintendents are different than most other, I will tell you, my start date on superintendent jobs, I started one in April 1st and the other one started May 1st. But it really just depends on what time of year it is. There's not a preferred. I will tell you, if I'm going into a new district and I can start on May the 1st, where I can look at the budget before it's adopted, get all of those things, look at master schedules, do the things that take place late spring and summer, I'm gonna be a much more effective superintendent than if I wait.
Does it have to be at this time, a hard date on that? Like say we're going to hire you, but your contract won't be expired till June, but we want to hire you in May and we can't.
We
do preferred but negotiable?
Yes. We could put a preferred, is May 1st what you're kind of thinking? Preferred May 1st, let's go, and then parentheses, put negotiable.
Yeah.
We can certainly do that. Yes, ma'am.
I think I'm gonna have a problem with the timeline.
Okay.
Um, because it's March that week for the first round interviews.
Yeah.
My kids show, go to Houston and it's that week. The interviews will be,
They are in the evenings.
and I don't have my computer on the day.
Sure, that's okay. We're not gonna post till I hear back from, I'm gonna hear back from you, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when we hear back from you, whatever those dates, if we need to make a shift, and it may bump everything. Right. So we'll just have to see.
Well, we bought a couple days of moving it to the meeting anyway, so.
Yeah.
Because and they might show on the same day, they might show different days, so it just depends.
We'll figure out what out. Yeah, no, we'll.
Sounds like you need to stand your kids up.
She's a senior, I can't.
No, I'm not. Okay.
You have another one coming.
I know.
Why don't be a senior eventually?
So a couple of things I do need to say, I'm gonna turn it back over to you, whatever you got. But while I'm thinking about it, I don't wanna pass this up. This search needs to be super confidential. This is a locker room. And I say this because if you get out there and you start talking to potential candidates or you start trying to recruit people and things of that nature, I will tell you, when superintendents see boards get involved at that level, they start pulling their names from that. Just being real honest with you. Because what superintendents want is boards that can keep confidentiality, and they know that boards have been talked to about confidentiality, and if they're reaching out to people and having conversations with people on the side, they're gonna say, am I really in a closed session and be able to trust that this board's gonna keep things confidential? I'm just being honest with you up front. If they start seeing those kind of things, good superintendents, not all of them, good superintendents will start pulling their names from that. Because
And we had an issue with that last time. I started getting calls about, well, so-and-so says you're hiring this person, this is what the community, this person's applying, and this person. I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about. So again, like I said, every teacher you know that is certified is gonna start calling, and that's when you say, look, this is a board decision. Like,
it's confidential search, I can't share anything, and it's fine, those things are gonna happen, but it don't need to come from the board.
right.
And in all, I'm just being honest with you up front. If good superintendents find out that it's not being a confidential search, they can pull a name.
Yeah, my canned response was, if you're interested, you're more than welcome to apply, but we've not made any decisions, we haven't discussed it. It'll be a board decision, information will come out when it comes
And I will tell you, superintendents that are applying for jobs know better than to reach out to
Yeah, I was about to say that, a couple thoughts of that. One is, we had official meetings that were out there. Today is an official meeting, being posted. The agenda has already been posted, so people, who know. So you don't need to say anything that's not on the agenda. Absolutely. It's on the agenda. And then second, for board, cohesion, if I'm out there trying to recruit so-and-so on the side, it's like, hey, I can get you in, I'm gonna hook you up, and then they have that expectation come in, hey, Dr. Edson, hook me up. Then that hurts us as a board unit, because Dr. Edmonds is out there doing hookups, but the other 6 members don't like this person, and that person will not be successful. Because it's not a board collective that made that, a board majority that made, because again, it could be a 4-3 vote, I don't know. It could be a 5-2, hopefully not, but yes, please don't have a conversation on the side with so-and-so. And the other thing with that too is that so-and-so may be telling you things, but then they get an interview and maybe they'll mention that, or maybe they,
Or they rat you out. So, and I talked to Dr.
I talked to Dr. Redmond, he said I've got
he
the
promised
job,
that I've got this job.
and that's not, and so it's best for us all to hear their response to our questions as a board collective. And so, and yes, if teachers, if community members, whatever, we are in a search. Yes, we are in a search. If they ask, we're in a search.
Anybody interested in welcome to apply?
Refer them to out, an easy out, refer them to me and Dr. Wright, because we'll have whatever conversation we need to have, it's not the board doing it, and, if you guys, I will say this too, if you do have somebody, and we get to a point and we don't see that they've applied and you want us to reach out to them, that's appropriate. You reaching out to them really isn't, but we can, and we've been asked to do that, we have. Doesn't mean they're gonna apply, but at least we can reach out and put that bug in there. The other thing you said, let me go back, see if I can pick up on what you said, the 4, 3, 5, I'm gonna say this, that is one of the first questions that superintendents that are offered the long finalist is, what was the vote? Because nobody wants to run into a situation where I already have 3 of my bosses that were not for me. And so I will tell you this, before we name a long finalist on that last night, he and I will do everything we can to get you to a consensus, okay, to where it is set up. We may not ever get there. If we get 6-1, you're probably still okay, but if we're 4-3, it's probably not going to be a good situation. And it's not going to be a good situation for you if 3 of you aren't for this person. So really, what we're going to do is we're going to do everything we can in conversation to let you see that this truly is the person once y'all decide on who it is, because it's better for you and it's better for the person coming in. So hopefully we don't end up there. We may, but by the end of the night, hopefully we won't be. You were about to say something.
It's okay, I don't take it that for it, I'm so lost my train.
I'm
It's all right.
sorry.
It wasn't a lot, it wasn't a big deal, it'll come back to me this evening.
And I want you guys to know, we probably have first round questions, what we do, 65, 70 first round questions. What we've given you here is a sample of first round questions. Please don't share this with anyone. Keep it, and I'm gonna say this, anything we give you, keep to yourself. On nights that we have interviews, we're gonna give you a notebook that has every person's application, their resume, everything about them. And we're gonna have questions, and you're gonna put notes and all the things, and you're gonna rank them every night, and at the end of the night, I'm gonna take the notebooks back up. And the reason is for confidentiality purposes, and you don't get yourself in a bind that you accidentally left your notebook somewhere and somebody saw it. So we'll take them back up, and we'll bring them back every meeting, just to protect you more than anything. And so just know that I gave you a sample list of questions that we think are really good questions. And I'll be real honest, we use most of these in our search for the leader and the ISD superintendent. But if you want to ask different questions, give us respond, giving them to you plenty of time. If there's something on here that say, you know what, in Anahuac, we really need to know blah, blah, blah. send that to us, and we'll get it on the list. Or if one of these, you're like, we've already addressed that, that's not an issue here, we need to take that question off, tell us that too, and we'll make a list. If you need more sample questions, again, I've probably got 75 sample superintendent questions I can send you, and so you just let me know. What have I missed, Dr. Rath?
Thank you all.
Okay.
Nothing that comes to mind.
We also volunteer our time to sit in on every interview so that you don't have to pay a lovely attorney to sit in and keep you from asking anything that you couldn't ask legally. And so we sit at the back of the room if you want us to. And if somebody asks a question, we'll just say, hey, time out.
We'll have a signal.
Don't ask anything. But the first night, as we're going into interviews, I'll kind of go over that with you. Here's things you can't ask. We try to keep you to the script, but you can ask questions for them to, hey, could you expand on that? You said you did this in this district. What did that look like? You know, those kind of questions, but nothing that's not fundamentally on that page. We don't want you to add something unless you do it early where we can review it and make sure it's a legal question. Any questions? Anything we didn't cover that you were hoping we would? Anything that we didn't say we're going to be doing that you hope we would be doing?
I'm just curious, last time we had 50 applications.
Yeah, it was 48, 49, so yeah.
How have your searches been looking lately?
Honestly, we have not been getting huge numbers because of this state litigation. There's a lot of people that were wanting to get into the superintendency that have seen the atmosphere of the superintendency and they're not applying like they did. I don't know how many we'll get. I would guess mid-30s probably.
Okay.
35, 40, I would guess.
Yeah.
But there's no guarantee ever. I will tell you, when we get, most of them come in the last 2 or 3 days, which is very difficult, right? The last 2 or 3 days, they just come pouring in. And so a lot of times, board presidents will reach out and say, how many do we have so far? I'm like, 10. Well, that's terrible. And then the last day we get 30. So,
I think last time we expected 15 and we ended up with, we didn't expect very many.
yeah.
So it's going right.
Spring is
We
best.
had a couple this summer. Summer is a horrible time, you know. We had 10 or 15 even for summer.
And fall's even worse, which Nederland did. Yeah, they still had, which, Nederland is like you are too, but Nederland is a highly respected district. They probably had 35. Give or take.
Okay. I was just curious what your averages were looking like.
Yeah, and we've done a couple of searches recently, we had 25. But I will say, when it gets later in the game, we haven't got any, I start picking up the phone, hey, I know you've applied in the past, talk to me, you realize Anahuac, that kind of thing, just to build the pool if we get in that situation.
But last time, you all had, just based on the searches we've had since then, you all had quite a few from the Houston area, which to them, it's fairly easy to drive.
Sure.
You know, so I think your candidate pool is going to be a little deeper potentially just because of where you're situated versus someone that says, I've got to relocate all the way over to Nederland.
Didn't we have one from like Arizona or
Yeah,
they were
that's an
way
extra
out of state?
Yeah.
The Nederland search, I had about 10 that were from out of state.
Yeah.
Do they know what they're doing?
You can interview them.
Yeah, that's right.
It is. Have you not been to Bunn's Beach?
Yeah, but one thing you guys have going in your favor, for the size school you are, in the past, you have paid very competitively. I don't know where you're sitting right now, what you're thinking, but when you get east of here, larger schools are not paying what you guys in East Chambers and others are paying, and so that helps you tremendously. You'll pull a lot.
We don't really have a choice though.
From
We
our,
have
no,
to
because
pay
you're sitting,
competitive.
you have to, but that helps.
Yeah, the thing is anybody that's kind of works their salt as far as the administrator is concerned. I can tell you, looking at this, you all are on potential of a growth. I mean, and I've come in here the past 2 or 3 years, continue to see houses and things like that popping up. So what you see is when the next 4 to 5 years, you're gonna be a larger school. So that growth is there, there's potential, there's a lot of things here.
Something just for you guys to know in conversations when you have them is that Chambers County is the sixth most rapidly growing county in the nation based on percent growth, according to the census.
Wow.
So, I mean, if they get asked questions, that's worth telling them that we are going, our unemployment rate is 4% too, which is unheard of. I mean, we are at the national average, so it's something to mention as, especially somebody that has a spouse or older children that are looking to relocate here. The employment market is really strong, so.
And Chambers County, like the government entity Chambers County, fantastic place to work. Great benefits for spouses if there are kids and older kids, if they're looking for jobs.
You tell me this, because I've not driven here to downtown Houston.
Hour,
Hour.
4 minutes.
We are literally evenly between Beaumont and Houston. It's equal distance here, right?
So one of the, I wouldn't say candidate, because they're not really sure, but they had expressed interest. You know, remember they said, hey, whatever comes open, let me know. So that's the reason why I'm making calls today. But they aren't from Region 5. And so they said, well, tell me a little bit about it. So I gave my idea what town looked like. But I said, the conveniences are, I said, you can live in the country and feel no traffic. So that you can get on I-10, and I said, 15 minutes, I said, you can be at H-E-B, there's restaurants, because Barbara
And they
King
also
was.
live here now too.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
And I'm sorry.
H-E-B, we have Uber Eats, so even though you're rural.
Yes.
From
we have
here,
no stoplights.
49 minutes to downtown.
Yeah.
From my house, it's an hour and 4 minutes.
Yeah, because we live outside.
So it's,
Some
Almost
sellers-
it was about 15 minutes in it.
Mhm.
Well, not right now, because it's.
Yeah, because of the trade.
But-
Don't mention the
but
Trinity
they
River
also-
Bridge.
Don't talk about that. Yeah, don't talk about that.
Oh, yeah. Sore subject. Sore subject.
That's exactly right. You know, the whole restaurant here, we stayed quite a bit like that.
Well, they have Uber Eats and stuff like that, so if somebody's looking to come from a more urban area, suburban would probably be more applicable to a rural area, they really do have all the modern comforts of, because again, you can get anything delivered, so if you don't want to drive the 15 minutes, it can be here.
And we get that question often. Hey, my wife or my husband wants to know how far it is.
Yeah.
I get it, quality of life matters, especially if they're married and have kids,
Yeah.
so, and then our sports programs, our youth sports programs are great, and so all those things, are selling points, you know, to drive the best quality candidates.
A big Fairborn over there, that's really nice.
Yes, I run the county livestock show.
Okay.
We give 100% to our kids, we don't take a cut out of that.
Okay.
All goes to kids, $1.2 million show last year, so
That's awesome.
right in the hands of the kids.
I love that, you know, my daughters showed animals and stuff, so that's one of the things, those that work in the show or in the show part, I would say, oh, that's nice, that's an opportunity.
Yes, it is. So-
Good.
So to do from here, I've got 2 items. Mikey, you're gonna let me know if there's any changes on the profile.
So it sounds like we've already been making some as we go.
Yeah. Do I need to reach back out to you, or are you okay?
Oh, I was just gonna let you know by the end of today.
Okay.
Just think of
Let me know March dates. So that's spring break. I guess that'd be a little bit later than what this is. So,
I reached out to some people and nobody's got back to me yet.
let me know some dates, please. And then I think for the rest of the board, we're okay moving it back a little bit later in March. Thank you. And then, my goal is to have that to Region 5, by Thursday. Just so that we kind of move that along.
I'm gonna put together some selling points for y'all, just some bullet points to send over in case they ask you, because I'm on pitch my county. Yeah. Yeah.
I have a pretty good knowledge.
Yeah.
Well,
Here, so much.
I coached against you guys when I was in high school. I coached against you guys when I was a unit superintendent. Y'all were in our district. I mean, I know Anahuac, but I don't know.
The quality of life stuff. I'll just send you a couple bullet points, and that way, if they ask, you can share that information.
And I was definitely having some change. You agree, so
You know.
I know you know.
Yeah. Well, that's part of my job in economic development. So I'm like, I'll sell this county all day long.
Same thing for Region 5? Okay.
You want us to go off the record until we,
Yeah, you can call it, yeah.
going to close or?
Yeah, are we going to close?
No, you know what, actually, we just need to finish the meeting.
Yeah.
Okay, we do.
I move.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming out.
Good to see you.
Thanks for.
Thank you.
Thank y'all. Y'all have a good afternoon.
Okay, we just need a motion to adjourn.
I moved to hire Region 5 as a superintendent search firm.
Okay,
I'll second.
okay, we have a first and a second. Any questions, comments, discussion about that? Okay, Stacy Davis, we're making a motion for the search firm.
You really can't participate.
Oh, we cannot. Okay, sorry, you can't participate. So, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Against say nay. Okay. Motion carries, I guess, do not include Stacy Davis on
And-
Not present for purposes.
And I move to adjourn this meeting.
I'll second. Want to close?
I'll second.
I don't think there's anything in close.
Policy, I think.
Oh, is that it?
Oh, I thought it was gonna be a
Sorry
separate.
about that.
I thought it was just gonna be a separate
Okay,
portion.
then let's go into
Never
closed.
mind.
Sorry.
I'll take that back.
Okay, so let's move into closed session. Time is, yeah. And then we also need to get, the administration.
Okay.
So thank you, Keep it straight.
I guess we're down one more.
Corey.